It's funny that, I mean, I would not say that I'm consciously interested in the passing of time, but I'm very interested in things that are in time. So now, film, my medium, is a medium of time, because time is inbuilt in it. You can't not think about time when you make a film, because it's a very active medium. You have to, you have constraints on your time from the very beginning. So with my 16mm camera, I only have 3-minute films, and then I must change the film, or 10-minute films when I shoot with a bigger camera. And so you have these sections of time in order to build the illusion of whatever time passing. And then with Disappearance at Sea, the voiceover, I saw the footage. When I filmed on the north of England, in these 2 lighthouses, Berwick upon Tweed, which is the last lighthouse in England, and then Longstone Lighthouse, which is the first in Scotland. And when I got my footage back, I realised I didn't need the voiceover, but the narrative was connected to Donald Crowhurst. So the narrative for that film is in the subtitle, is in the title, actually. And when I got this footage back, I knew that anything I would say over the top of this film was superfluous. So that's when I began to use sound as to carry the narrative, through the turning of the light bulb, and then the gulls getting more and more shrieking by the end of the film, and using wild sound or ambient sound to be the voiceover instead. And from then on, only with JG, it's the first time in 2000, this year, that I've returned to a voiceover.
.636.
I was struggling with how to make this film, which was about, J.G. Ballard's short story, The Voices of Time, and Robert Smithson's Spiral Jetty. So when I got these clocks back, we took a clock into the desert. Everything was filmed inside the camera. I thought, when I first saw them, I thought, oh my God, they're horrible, they're too literal. But in the end, they became very, very important in terms of the structure of the film, which is a sort of decreasing cycle of time. And because that novel, that short story, is so specific in terms of running out of time, that film is all about running out of time. And also it's about the end of film as well, and the spiral. That actually Ballard's words became very, very important to it. I find out about places through found postcards and photographs that's been doing that for a while. When I came here, I was told that there were no found postcards. Do you remember there was no old postcards in Brazil? It was a real business. Do you remember trying to get anything? And eventually, this man turned up with a whole pile of very, 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 very the most expensive in the world postcards I've ever come across. And at the same time, I literally, it was very strange because I just Googled album, which is this way of making a photograph from the end of the century before last, actually, the 20th century. The end of the 19th century. No, yeah, the end of the 19th century, with these album prints which were made from egg yolk. And I wrote Brazil album, and then these two pictures they were these, I've never seen any since, but these two very beautiful pictures, and immediately I saw them. I saw the road and the tracks, and I knew that I knew what I was going to do with them. Well, when this man turned up with the most expensive postcards in the world, there was this moment when I saw within them there were these postcards where somebody, a man, had written this little figure shouting "Gigi, Gigi." They're so beautiful. And I found 4 of them on that occasion. And then on Saturday, a year later, I went to a flea market where there are loads of postcards, actually. It was not such an unusual thing. I thought it was a bit odd that Brazilians don't have postcards. Anyway, I found, and I saw the man of the expensive postcards, and I suddenly thought, God, maybe there's another Gigi. So I looked in every single thing he had, and there was nothing. And then next to him was another man with postcards. So I walked over, and he had a box, and I went like that, and I saw it. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't even the same person. So we have the 5th Gigi, which is, of course, a miracle. At first I did film a lot of, the compositions and such, and I realised at a certain point I couldn't make just a film of Morandi's objects. I had to find a way, and I suddenly, there was one group, and I realised that I would do what Morandi did not do, and he was incredibly rigorous about his compositions. You can tell through still life, all the drawings, I would take each object in this group and I would center it in my film frame, and just no matter what happened to the composition. So I would make composition random in a way. So, and even when if the object was behind another object, I would still put it in the middle. So it makes for a strange, so it's anti-composition, actually. You know, there's so many reasons why it's still very, very much my medium. You know, I still cut my films as films on my Steenbeck, my cutting table. I need to do that because that's how I make the work. It's for me very kind of clearly like any other artist's works. You know, if I was a painter or a sculptor and had, you know, stuff, no one would question my continuing to use the stuff, however obsolete oil paint is or should be, or plaster or marble or whatever. So it's my medium, and it's, you know, my work is connected to my medium. You know, the nature of my films is connected to the fact that it is film, I think. It's not just pictures, and that's something that I'm increasingly having to sort of spell out to a world that thinks digital is the same as film, and it's not at all.